Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are discussing the Arsenal player ratings in the new game. It's not going to be FIFA 24. I'm struggling to get my head around it. It's going to be called EA Sports FC. It's a little bit of a weird one. Are they going to use numbers like 24, 25, 26, or is it just going to be EA Sports FC every year? And oh, who knows? But as you can see on screen right now, we've got all of the current updated ratings towards the end of FIFA 23 now. On the left side, we've got players that are probably not going to be at the club next season, whether that's a loan or being sold. And then in the middle, on the pitch, well, it's not even in the middle, but slightly to the right of the screen, we've got the potential first team squad going into the new season. Of course, we've got 3 players in there that we haven't signed yet, but it looks increasingly likely. Havertz is in there. Looks like it's deal done. That's going to be announced this week. Declan Rice. I mean, yes, as I'm recording this, it does seem like Man City are very interested in as well, but I have a feeling we will get him. And at the right back position, can play centre back. We've got Timber, who again looks to be close but isn't quite done yet. But maybe in a few days or in a few weeks, if you're watching this, maybe there's some new additions. I can always come back at a later time and update it. But for now, I kind of envision the squad looking like this going into the new season. It might be these are the only 3 signings we make. Who knows? But let's get rating. Let's go ahead and do the left side players first. The players that might not be here next season. A lot of these players might not need adjusting, and I'll just leave the ratings as they are. But of course, I will be changing the ones that I think deserve to go up or down. Partey, I would leave at an 85. He had a very good season up until the last few weeks, really. So I don't think he deserves an upgrade or a downgrade. He was still very important for us. Granit Xhaka at 82. I mean, EA have been horrendous with Granit Xhaka over the years because of, I don't know, the media portray him to be this liability. And whilst he has had issues, there is still a quality football player in there. And we finally saw it this season. He got some love, got put from 79 to 82, I believe. He's gone up by 3 this year. And I think I'm quite happy with 82, although you could argue maybe he deserves another upgrade, but I'm happy to leave that for now. Holding 77. I think I'm happy with that too. I don't think he's got worse, but I don't think he's got better. He's not at the right club anymore. I feel like Arsenal are now beginning to go up a level. Holding is one of the older signings, you know, back in the Wenger era. It's time to move on, but I wouldn't change his rating. Pepe 79. I mean, again, I'm not going to upgrade it, but I don't think he deserves to be lower. Did he have a bad season at Nice? I don't really know. I didn't watch him too much. Maybe you guys would lower his rating a bit. It's a travesty that, what was it, 4 seasons ago, 72 million? Pfft, unbelievable, isn't it? Tavares, I think he's going to be the first player here that I'm actually going to change. I think I'd give him a 77. Purely because he's gained a year of experience, and I think we did see a slightly better and more controlled player out on loan. He was a bit of a headless chicken at Arsenal. Patino is also going to get an upgrade for me. It's sad that he's probably leaving, but I get it. For playtime, he's not going to be around getting game time at Arsenal. So I think he would comfortably deserve maybe an up of 3. So maybe he'd be a 70 for next year's game, this year's game, whatever you want to call it. I don't think that's necessarily bad. Marquinhos, difficult really, because he started well on his loan at Norwich, but I don't think he deserves a huge upgrade. I don't think he's going to be the next Saka, put it that way. But I don't see why he couldn't get a slight bump, again, because of experience playing in England for a whole season now. It's going to be interesting to see what we do with him next season, but I think a +1 wouldn't hurt. Sambi Lokonga, I thought, again, had a pretty good start when he went to Crystal Palace for the 6-month loan. But towards the end, when Hodgson came in, he didn't get as much game time. So I probably would have given him a 76 if he finished the season strongly, but I think 75 is probably fair. Balogun had a very good season in France. Apparently Arsenal want 50 million for him. I don't think we're going to get close to that, but I think he's worth that. If you look in the current market and what teams are spending, is it the Danish striker for Atalanta? Is it Holland? Hoyland? I don't know. It's a weird name. He's being reportedly valued at 80 million. I'm like, well, Balogun's done more than him. I think that guy scored something like 8 or 9 goals last season, and he looks good. But so I can get behind Arsenal's valuation. I just don't think we'll get that. But it wouldn't surprise me if we do see one slight little more upgrade, especially as he's now playing for the US and scoring for them. And I think he will go up to a 77 for the beginning of next year's game. So that's the left side done. Let's move into the main team now. I think Ramsdale will get an upgrade again. I think he's going to end up being 84 for the new game. And I think Matt Turner is probably going to stay 77, although he could deserve an upgrade. He's very, very, very underrated. I do like him. Whenever we use him, he doesn't put a bad foot wrong. He doesn't necessarily deserve to be a backup goalkeeper, but, Ramsdale's ahead of him for obvious reasons. And for the US, he's brilliant. So long may it continue. It's great having a good backup. Let's go over to the right side here. I think Timber, 79. I don't see any need to adjust that. I haven't watched enough of the guy. I just know he's very technically gifted. He's a centre-back, right-back, CDM, versatile option for us. Looks like he'll probably end up playing on that right side in kind of like an inverted role, just like Zinchenko does. Tomiyasu injured a lot of the season, and when he played, didn't look incredibly good. So I don't think he deserves an upgrade, but I don't think he deserves a downgrade either. Ben White, I think, comfortably deserves an upgrade. I think 80 is actually very, very harsh. I think an 81 for the new game is probably about right. But that is, of course, after a season playing at right back. The problem is he going to be first choice if Timber comes in, if Tomiyasu is fit? Saliba obviously is going to play at centre-back in that position, so I don't know where Ben White's going to slot in. I presume he will still be a right back, but I think Arteta is shifting him back into that centre-back role, especially if Holding is sold. Saliba at 83, I mean, I think you could comfortably give him an 85. He is that good. I'm going to go with an 84, and I think if he goes up by one, I think Gabriel deserves it as well. One of the most underrated players. Well, is he underrated? Maybe not, but he doesn't get as much of the plaudits as Saliba. I thought Gabriel was probably our best centre-back and most consistent centre-back. If Saliba didn't get injured and effectively end our hopes of the title challenge. It sucks, but I think it's true. I think with Saliba, we would have had a much better chance. Kivior, I thought was really good towards the end of the season. 100% deserves to be a gold player, so 75 or more. I would actually be quite comfortable seeing him go up to a 76. He's still got quite a little bit to do to really prove himself, but he'll get a lot of game time next season in cup competitions, and I like him. Versatile again, could move into midfield if we needed him to. Left back, very good backup to Gabriel. Tierney, I would leave at an 80. It does seem likely that we're going to hold on to him now. I think that's mainly because we've got priorities in other areas of the pitch and we don't want to lose Tierney because then we would need another left back. I think 80 is about right. He's not exceptional in any way. I really feel like he isn't going to quite reach that full potential that all us Arsenal fans thought. He's still a very competent left back, though, and I think he will leave at the end of next season. I have a feeling this will be it for him. Last season, if not, he might still be sold in this window. Zinchenko being 80 is criminal, though. Just the fact that he is so good at what he does. There's not many players that can do what he does. I think he deserves a solid upgrade to 82. And the thing is, it's difficult because he's not really a left back. He's not even really a defender, in my opinion. He's just a very good player at moving into midfield, holding that midfield role while other players go forward and being defensive-minded in that way. But he's also a very creative player. And I think he's exactly what we're going to get with Timber, just on the other side. I think a +2 is more than fair. Jorginho at 84, I think some people would say that's a little bit high. And I think I would agree. I don't think he necessarily deserves a downgrade, but he is an 84. I don't think he's that good. He's a very good player. He still plays at a very high level, but Declan Rice right now in the game is 84, and I think Declan Rice is a better player than Jorginho in most ways. I think Jorginho might be coming in as maybe even an 82 if EA are feeling a little bit harsh, but I will go for an 83. El Neni is, again, just injured all the time. It doesn't look like he's leaving. I think he's going to be one of those players that can just be there if we need him. And apparently he's really good in the dressing room. He's friends with everyone. He's just a good player to have, a good squad player, but I think he'll go down to 75. Now, into the second signing, Timber, we've done. Declan Rice, for me, is absolutely incredible. I genuinely feel like if we sign him, he's going to elevate our midfield so much. I think he definitely deserves to go up. He is definitely worthy of an 85 rating. He's one of the first names for England. And I think if he moves to City or if he moves to Arsenal or even a Manchester United, wherever he goes, he starts. There's no doubt. And I think that's why he will end up at Arsenal, because I have a feeling, I think we'll take United out of the picture. I don't think they're going to go for him. I think Man City would probably not even start him in every single game. He'll probably play most of the games, especially with Gundogan going. But Rodri's in there. They've obviously got De Bruyne. It's maybe possible for him to get every game under Man City, under Pep at Man City, but I know for a fact at Arsenal he's going to be the guy. He's the main foundational midfielder, and I think he likes that, and I think he likes Arteta, and he likes the project at Arsenal. But he's not guaranteed to win anything here, not yet. And it's a brave move if City do come calling. I wouldn't blame him for guaranteeing trophies and success and more money. Let's face it. Let's move into midfield. Vieira, so difficult because he's not cut out for the Premier League physically, but technically wise, he's very good. He's scored a couple of goals. I remember the Brentford goal. That was truly remarkable. Don't think he deserves more than 77 at this point, but for sure his potential is going to be lower next season. But I think we might see more of him. We've got more cup games, with the Champions League. He's going to have to come in and help. I do think we'll see more of Vieira, but I don't think he deserves any change, really. Ødegaard at 86, I think I can get behind that. I would say that's probably about right. You could argue 87, considering he won Player of the Year at Arsenal. He was one of the best players of the season regardless. Maybe 87. It's tempting because I feel like he has to surely get another upgrade. I think I'm going to leave him at 86, though. I think there are some 87 rated players in the game that are still performing slightly ahead of him, maybe. Emile Smith-Rowe, I think 79 is about right. Obviously, he's been injured, but he's absolutely killing it for the under-21s, the England team, scoring 2 in 2 as I'm recording this and looking like he's really getting fit. Havertz, our third signing. So he's 83 as a Chelsea player right now. And after a relatively poor season, I think he's going to come out of it with the same rating. I'm surprised because I think a lot of Chelsea players will go down. But I think he is one of those players that I don't want to say like he was not at fault, because all the Chelsea players played a role in such a disappointing season. But I don't think he showed that he's not a good player. I just think the play around him wasn't helping him in any way. I think 83 is probably right. But at his age and at a club like Chelsea, he should have been gaining more and more every season, and that just hasn't happened. He's definitely stalled. Can we revive him? 85 rated at the end of next year's game. All right. Nelson absolutely deserves an upgrade. I would say bump it up to 76 maybe. He's still relatively young, and that's what blows my mind. He's been around for so long. Scored the best goal of the season, in my opinion, against Bournemouth. And I say best, I mean one of the best memories from that season. I always think about the Jorginho goal, which bounced off Martinez against Villa, Eddie Nketiah against United. But that Bournemouth goal, it was absolutely it was elation. Unbelievable. So I think just that moment alone could bump it up by 1. But he definitely deserves a little bit more than 74. He's a gold player. Saka at 85. I think that's about right. I wouldn't bump him up any more than that. I think EA have been quite generous with recent updates. And remember, if a lot of you play Ultimate Team, you're using ratings that are probably from around February, whereas in career mode, you get more updates. We're looking at an April, May update. So Saka at 85, I think, is quite fair. Now, Nketiah has always been quite low rated in the game, and I think it's a little bit harsh. I would bump him up to the same level as Balogun. I think, although Balogun scored more last season, he is in a slightly easier league, and Nketiah actually did very well for Arsenal when Jesus was out. So I think 77 is fair. He's better than Reece Nelson in his career so far, so I would stick with 77 there. Jesus at 84, I'm quite happy with that. I don't think he is the one. I think when we signed him, we got very excited. It was the first time that we brought in a player from a club like Man City, a player that was valuable to another big team. We don't typically do that so much. We often sign the rejects, all the Chelsea rejects recently. But getting Jesus was, amazing. But the injury killed his rhythm. And let's face it, even when he was fit, he wasn't an absolute game changer. I don't think he's an out-and-out striker. And although I've put Havertz where maybe Xhaka was playing in this video, I actually feel like he's going to be Jesus and Havertz are going to be competing for that number 9 role. And I think it's going to give Jesus a lot of freedom if we actually play both of them to drift out wide. Maybe we end up basically playing as a 4-4-2 when we don't have the ball. You have Havertz and Jesus up top. And then they shift forward. Zinchenko moves into midfield and we play with 3 at the back. And I think that could be a really good dynamic. But 84, fine by me. Martinelli, 82. Could be 83. I'll give it to him. I think he deserves it. And Trossard was unreal when he joined. Loads of assists. I think he got 10 assists since he joined. And 1 goal. So I would bump him up to 81. So what are we thinking? Is that about right? Are we happy with these ratings? Let me know if you think I've got any wrong. Probably. I think I probably have got a couple wrong. Maybe I'm a little bit biased to some players. Of course, the window is still open. There are still plenty of players linked with Arsenal. And of course, putting players like Timber and Rice in when they're clearly not done yet. And even Havertz, it's not official yet, although we all know it's happening. He's still not at the club yet. But would you guys be happy with this team going into the new game? A career mode would still be really fun with this team. There's some clear areas where we could still improve. But in general, I think I'm happy with these ratings. As I'm looking at it right now, I don't think I would change any of them. So let me know your thoughts down below. And let me know if there's any other teams you'd like me to do this for, or if there's any other kind of content you'd like to see. And I will see you in the next video.